So I'm just an idiotic, stupid dog, and I must say it was really nice to hear from old King Cobra Rules. We haven't heard from old King Cobra in quite some time. He had a wonderful comment he made. It was very heartwarming. In his missive, he suggested or he intimated that he was wondering why he hasn't seen any Donald Trump content lately out of our, whatever you call it, our channel. And I was like, well, I'm a stupid dog, but the guy, you don't want to kick a guy when he's down. I don't know. It's not really something that I would call as much of interesting as it is a little bit disheartening. So it's just, we haven't been inspired. But this, King Cobra brings up a point here. And so I wanted to make this little offering really as an inspiration of King Cobra, so to speak. But this is all true. This really happened. And I think it's a little bit of an interesting thing. So the man, as everybody well knows, doesn't have too much money and he doesn't have too much brain power owing to his oxygen deprivation, brain injury he suffered when he was a youth. But the man, he can still always recognize an opportunity when he sees one. Now, on March 26th, he had scraped together about $1,000 that he has on his Charles Schwab account. The interesting thing is on his Charles Schwab account, they do not charge for making stock purchases. The man had some old newspaper and magazine stocks that had plummeted, so he says, I'm going to sell those things off. He had a couple marijuana stocks in there too. He sold those things off. Everything was pretty much down quite a bit. He had basically $1,000 in there, and on March 26th, he bought the Truth Social public offering. Trump Media, basically his Truth Social thing there, under the ticker tape of DJT. Now, this public offering began on March 26th at $49.95. By the time the man was able to purchase, the stock had already risen to $52. Now, the interesting thing is the man was going to hold on to it for, a few days or whatever. He got a little antsy. So sometime around 11 o'clock the following day, he sold it for $65. He basically made about $200 just for tapping his iPhone screen, sitting there in his big parlor room. He made $200 sitting there on his ass. And he made it off of the back of Donald Trump. And I would think King Cobra Rules could appreciate that whole thing. Now, the interesting thing was the man was kicking himself because over the next couple of days, the stock price rose to $79 a share. So he left about $15, whatever you would say, about $14 of meat on the bone. But whatever, he could have made maybe $350. But hey, never be afraid. The man always says, never be afraid to make a good deal. Don't wind up having the paralyzation of overanalyzation. So the man, sat there in the big parlor room, tapped his iPhone a few times, made $200 sitting on his ass. The interesting thing, he got out. And now here's the other interesting thing, and we're going to close with this for old King Cobra. It turns out that now today, the stock price has actually fallen down to $48.66, which is already beneath its initial offering price, which means anybody that got in there on that March 6th thing is already starting to lose a little bit of money. But even though the man, like I said, he's got his own problems, he didn't lose any money on the deal. I find that very interesting. And I hope King Cobra Rules finds this entire thing pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty interesting. I was like, geez, the man, I give him credit.